So hello, welcome back to my channel. This week we have a night in Girona. So it's a little night away in Girona because I really do want to make the most of time in France, etc, etc. I know Girona's not in France, but it's closer than most of France. Yeah, Girona is known for its cycling, so I brought my bike. I started the day off in Font Romeu because it was a lot cooler. We are still in the heat wave that most of Europe's experiencing, and it did go up to I think about 37 degrees here, which was tough. So I did my run in Font Romeu because it was cooler. It was early in the morning, there's a breeze there, like it's much cooler, so I did my run there, which is just a nice little easy hour. Then I drove down, which was one of the most stressful drives of my life. I followed the sat nav instead of following where I wanted to go, and it was so stressful. I've driven roads like that. There was just one road in particular, which is actually, the road I was trying to go down is actually the second climb in stage 3 of Tour de France this year. And the road itself was fine, it's just very narrow, but it was how fast people were driving it that it resulted in somebody taking my wing mirror. I've never crashed my car in my life. It wasn't a crash, but yeah, I feel like I've officially been welcomed to France, even though that was actually in Spain that happened, because I have properly, dented my car. So once I got to Girona, I then got lost coming through the city several times, and I was quite overstimulated, I will say. Finally got myself parked, got my bike ready, got myself ready. So somehow we have parked in the middle of a university graduation, and I think I've drove around the old town and I've just got changed behind a bush. Is this a cyclist life? I don't know. And my Birkenstocks are covered in hay, but that's fine. It's going well. We're gonna get on the bike. But wow, it's hot. It's off the cycle, but I spent 20 minutes just getting lost pretty much on the bike. Like, I don't know, I just got myself in such a state. I think I was just struggling. I then ended up just cycling about a bit. I stopped for coffee. I was like, do you know what? Just reset, stop for coffee. I stopped for coffee in a cycling cafe that was so cool. It was really noisy and busy, which my little sensory profile was like, this is a lot. But the cafe itself was super cool, and I took that time to just sit and try and block out some of the noise. I couldn't really block out the noise. But then I also just properly got my route sorted again. I asked one of the guys who works in the shop, who was so nice. I said, is this an okay route? Basically just being like, is this route okay? Because whatever the first route I was going on, I went through a bit of the city and I was like, I don't like this bit of the city, and I don't like where I am, and I don't know where this is. It kept being like, please take the third exit, and I was like, the third exit doesn't look like an exit. So anyway, I checked over it with this guy, a different route. So I did that route. It was super windy today. It did feel like any way I was going was a headwind. The roads were so much easier than France. Wow, so much easier. Apart from the final climb to get my car. Whew, I had to get out my saddle for that one. But yeah, so the cycle itself was fine. I will say it wasn't the Pyrenees, but it was nice enough. And yeah, the roads were way easier to cycle on. Not because of traffic, just purely because it was not constant up or constant downhill. There was some flat. Got to cycle on some flat. It would have been cool to see my speed without the wind, but it was really windy. The bits where you're actually just you're having to push the bike into the wind so you don't get pushed off. And then, but halfway through that, and because I really got in my head about just loads of stuff that I'll eventually talk about on here. Not all of it. I've got to have some personal life. More just about visas and moving and blah, 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 blah. And I really got in my head about that on my bike. And then I just took a moment and I was like, how cool is this? I am cycling in Spain. I hadn't really cycled outside until 4 months ago. And I just took a moment to really appreciate the magnitude of how far I've come. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but anyone that knows me well we actually like laugh at this of how crazy it is what I'm doing, because where I was a year ago, I couldn't go on a plane. Like it's really it's huge, and I sometimes need to take a pause and just really be grateful for where I am, and always remind myself of like, this is actually really freaking cool. So once I eventually got back my bike, oh my gosh, I had to then get my bike up 4 floors. Oh, that was really hard. I think that was the hardest part of the day, to be honest. I just got a really quick shower and headed out to find just basically find like a grocery shop, and I got a little Diet Coke and a cafe, stand outside, watch people go by. What I will say is, like, I have heard more British accents. I've heard more this afternoon than I've heard since moving to France, since February. But I did find, we found Calippo! Can't find these in France so far. I haven't been able to find a Calippo. Calippo, however you want to say it. Look. I'm gonna have one before bed. It's just what you want on a cold... No, it's what you want on a hot day, right? It's 29 here. It's still 29 here at 9:30 at night. But I was feeling so stressed that I, at several points, considered driving back home. And even just now, I'm still like, oh, I could just drive back. But I'm like, no, we've done this. We've booked a night away. You can do this. So tomorrow, I have a 2-hour run to do. I do wish I was here for longer. I actually wish I was here with like my friends, because I think it'd be a really fun holiday destination. But I'm only here for a night. Well, yeah, coming to Girona, I had really just really hoped that I would just be like, oh my god, it's amazing, I want to move here. And I've not been like that. It's cool, but it's, for me, this is a holiday destination. This would not be a full-time living destination for myself. I don't think. And obviously I've only had a day here, but it made me know what I don't want again. I'm making like a solid list of like what I need from a place. It's just that place currently haven't found what it is yet, but I think for me it's actually, this is too busy, like just point blank way too busy. But also, this sounds dreadful, but the Spanish landscape is not the same as the French mountains. Like, it's so different. Whilst the Pyrenees are the same, like it's the same mountain range, it's very different. I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same at all. The mountains I want to be in, which sounds terrible. The bike was good, but again, even when I was on the bike, I was like, meh. Now, what I really want would be like Font Romeu, maybe like 3 times the size, or Font Romeu the same size. My apartment to definitely have some light. I think my dark apartment doesn't help. But without like rotation of athletes in ski season and summer season, just like a permanent bunch of people that live there, that either I just, in a dream world, I would just spoke French and it was fine, or people speak English. And I really do think that's what I would get from going to a place like Chamonix. I've never even been to Chamonix, but I just feel like that is more the place I need to be, but it's just not doable just now. There's just such a time pressure. It's like, do I just go back home? It will all be okay. I went a run for 2 hours around the old town, saw some Game of Thrones highlights, and then just went out the old town into the surrounding areas. However, I was melting in 37-degree heat. It was not a run for the faint-hearted, and one I wasn't entirely sure I was going to do, and that's why there isn't much content, because it was about survival. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please do hit that subscribe button and tune in next week for a little bit more.